What's going on, guys? My name is Noah, and today I am sitting down with a registered dietitian. And I invited her to be on the channel because I feel she has an amazing Instagram. Like an amazing Instagram that I want you guys to check out. So her name is Colleen, and I'll let her go ahead and introduce herself and sort of edify herself a little bit for you guys. So who are you, what do you do, and what makes you qualified to talk about this stuff?
Oh gosh, okay, my name is Colleen, and I'm a registered dietitian and health coach. And I'm really passionate about plant-based nutrition, like you were saying. And we're finding now how important plants are for the diet and how many benefits they have and all the antioxidants and phytochemicals and nutrients. So I'm very passionate about the nutrition side, but also love to talk about the emotional and the stress piece as well. So there's many components to health, including stress and recovery, mindset, nutrition, and movement.
So putting it all together is really important to you. Yeah, and I think we're in like a really good age right now where people, I mean, we have access to a lot of information, and I think the attitude of it takes more than just food, it takes more than just sleep, it takes more than just ... to have an overall healthy experience, and you're big on that. I've never sat down with a dietitian before, and I'm someone like everyone, right? I'm interested in what I'm eating. I want to know if I'm helping or harming, to what end. I get trapped into eating for comfort. I get trapped into just being ignorant and not even understanding which foods are potentially affecting what things and how it all can tie together. So I will try to not dominate this video beyond the start here. I'll just answer questions that you might ask me, and otherwise the floor is yours. So just treat me like any other person who's nervous, who's coming to meet you, doesn't know anything about diet, but would like to improve their lives. And then however else it goes, we'll just go from there.
Okay. Cool. So I like to start with a couple of opener questions just to kind of, take the edge off a little bit so I can get to know you a little bit better. Sure. And, kind of figure out why you're here. So tell me a little bit more about why you're interested in health coaching and seeing a dietitian and what you're looking for.
I think what I'm looking for is to just up the ante on my day-to-day life. I want to better understand what foods can promote my goals of having more energy, of keeping a healthy body weight, of being able to perform athletically, think more clearly, support sleep. I just want to make sure that I'm not sabotaging myself, and I want to make sure that things that I've been brought up thinking, I want to round out some of the knowledge there as to what's good for me and what's bad for me. Okay, so upping the ante, I'm hearing, is a big one. You want to optimize. Find ways to optimize all areas of your health, including sleep, making sure you're not missing any nutrients, filling any gaps. You're curious. Very curious. That's a good quality to have. A curious mindset.
Curious. It's definitely a trend buzzword. Okay, so you want to optimize. So tell me a little bit more about any pain points that you have specifically with your health right now.
I mean, I have some aches and pains from training, so I imagine that's some inflammation. I certainly struggle with some diarrhea here and there. I bet it's because I sometimes eat the quote-unquote the wrong foods, foods that definitely inflame me. Overall, though, I don't have too many pain points. I would like some... If there is a way to eat more in line with mental clarity, I'd want to learn about it and hear more about it. I think, like anyone, I suffer from some brain fog, some depression from time to time, and I wonder, is what I'm eating consistently, could that be impacting, and to what effect? But I don't really know what I don't know, so I try not to overthink it.
Yeah. Try not to overthink it is a good thing. Sometimes we can just freeze ourselves and be paralysis with over-analysis, right? So that can be really confusing. Okay, so I'm hearing there's some physical pain points, maybe some diarrhea and some inflammation that comes along with training. And then also looking to dive a little bit deeper and figure out maybe is there a connection between anxiety, depression, or mental health and what you're eating and what you can do to maybe optimize that or improve that. Definitely. Okay.
And a lot of our viewers are here for mental health. And of course, what you eat affects how you think and feel tremendously. I know that. I understand that there's a microbiome brain connection. To what end, I'm not sure, but I know it's there, and I know a lot of our neurotransmitters are produced down there, and our immune system runs from down there. So if we can give myself or anyone a leg up on hey, this could be affecting that, it's just quite simple. Be mindful. Maybe we can make little changes that could have big impacts.
Okay, so you're open to that.
Mm-hmm.
So how long would you say these pain points are, how long have they been happening for? Years?
Forever.
Yeah?
Forever.
How long?
I honestly, since I can remember, I've had diarrhea issues and anxiety issues and depression issues off and on since I was like a teenager.
Okay.
I have noticed that when I'm more in tune with what I'm eating, like I try to be now, I'd say 80-90% I do what I would call like a good job at choosing foods that suit my body in terms of inflammation or diarrhea or whatever. So I know that when I eat mostly plant-based, whole foods in general, no processed foods, no added sugars, my body does so much better, and I have normal looking poop, and my sleep improves, stuff like that. But I still get drawn back into processed foods and sugars. They're like a high. They just feel so good, and it's hard to break away from them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you on that. Okay, so it sounds pretty familiar. Like it's been around for a while, and sometimes it can be heavy. Okay. What do you think the costs are to staying in that spot? Emotionally, financially, health-wise?
I think it's one of those things that I haven't really wanted to know. Like I want to know, but I don't want to know because I think changing is scary. It's just like little changes I'm all about, but the idea that like to find out, let's say point blank, like, dang, this is literally screwing all of this up. Period. There's no way around it. It's kind of intimidating because of just the way I get by in life, and I've always gotten by. So I imagine that I'm leaving some things on the table in terms of wellness, in terms of digestive health, in terms of mental stability. I certainly bet there's stuff there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, change is scary. Yeah, and our nervous system does everything it can to prevent us from changing. It really does because it's so scary. Okay, so you do notice that there might be some costs to staying the same. And
Yeah.
It sounds like you're pretty good with making small steps, and that's definitely the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm open and willing to change, which is good. It's been something that I've been progressing towards, just like the attitude of willingness to allow change to happen and just to be open to that, as opposed to just dogmatic and just decide I'm stuck in my ways. Like I don't ever want to feel perpetually stuck in my ways, but then be suffering, but not willing to find out why.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay, I hear you there. So then, what's motivating you? What's your biggest motivator?
My biggest motivator.
Yeah.
And here I thought we were interviewing Colleen, basically. My biggest motivator for like wanting to change and be better.
Yeah. just
to be mentally stable and fulfillment. Just to feel good about myself.
Yeah, to feel good. So usually there's an underlying emotion for what motivates us. So it's important to look at what's motivating us, but really finding what the emotional state is that we want from that. Because that's what we're really trying to achieve, is getting to that emotional state.
I never really thought of it that way. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I'm like a why guy. Like I believe it's important to know your why. It'll help sustain you when you try to change and grow. But I don't think anyone's ever asked me in terms of food. Like I think I would have said something a lot different a long time ago. I just want to feel good.
Yeah, I just want to feel good.
Yeah.
More energy. Just feeling good. Yeah. Okay. So then what would be, it sounds like you're very healthy as it is, and there's a couple things you might want to change. What do you think your ideal transformation would be over the course of, say, 3 months?
I think my ideal transformation, provided the right information, if I could attach it to my why, is just to be able to more consciously choose. I think one of the things that bothers me is the idea that I'm hurting or harming without realizing the effect, to what effect. So kind of like zombie-like behavior when it comes to food, when it comes to timing, when it comes to sleep. I guess when it comes to anything, I just think that being like willfully ignorant worries me to no end. Did I even answer the question?
Yeah, you're going. I mean, it sounds like you want to be informed.
I just want to be informed.
Yeah.
So I want to be informed. I don't want to do one thing without knowing what it might be doing and how it might be affecting another. I just want awareness so that, let's say I choose to do something, it is a choice, or at least it might feel like one, as opposed to this could be doing this, that, affecting this, that. I don't know, and I don't care. I don't want to be there.
Okay, you want to have awareness, you want to be informed, and you want to feel like you're making the right decision at any given moment.
Yeah, or at least I understand what the decision is.
Yeah. I understand what you're doing. Okay, gotcha. So what has worked and hasn't worked in the past to bring awareness, to bring, get yourself informed, to get out of the paralysis of overanalysis and get out of the confusion?
I think what hasn't worked in the past is trying to change absolutely everything at once. I've been one of those people that have tried to wake up on a given day and be a completely different person, and I always fail. I'm never a completely different person on any given day. What has worked though is small incremental change that has like an actionable game plan that I can just follow and build a habit around. That's definitely been something that's been useful on this channel for me, and in my own effort to, I don't know, grow, get by on this world, make it from A to B with some safety and some grace. So small steps that I understand I can do and I can achieve, and then building on that. That seems to work okay for me. Little regressions here and there, but yeah, otherwise I get low self-esteem when I quit.
Yeah.
So I just try to figure out what I could do that I wouldn't quit until I have the energy, the enthusiasm, the confidence to take on more.
Absolutely. Small steps are the way to do it. Because when we try to transform ourselves all at once and wake up the next day and try to change everything, then it can go into a pattern of what we call self-sabotage behavior. And I don't really like to use self-sabotage because it's really judgmental. I like to use, it's more self-protection. We're really our nervous system's protecting ourselves from the change that's about to happen.
Is it almost like it's perceiving the change as a potential threat, even if it's a potential benefit?
You're right.
Weird.
Exactly. So I can give you an example today, like me filming this today. My nervous system does not want me to do this.
Is your chest tight or your head
chest
pressure
tight.
a little bit?
I feel anxious coming in today, being filmed, just because my survival pattern doesn't want to, I don't want to be revealed or to speak up because I'm just fearful of that. So my nervous system does everything it can to not do this.
Did you almost not come, or did you know you would do it?
I knew I would do it.
That's cool.
And I got the right support and motivation to help me get here.
Cool.
To get past those survival patterns.
Awesome.
But
you recognized it.
Yeah, you recognize. So I know it's good for me and to spread the message that I have. And I know it would be helpful. But the thing is, I didn't want to do it. Right. So going back to you. Making a big change all at once and doing everything all at once, you can see your survival patterns might kick in. You might be trying to protect yourself, to keep yourself quote unquote safe.
Interesting.
But it's actually safer to take small risks than to stay stuck.
That's cool.
So, okay.
Good share. You're killing it, by the way. I happen to know that about Colleen, that this was going to be a bit of a nervous thing for her. I'm on camera all the time. I'm super adapted. I'm used to it. But had you never mentioned that to me before, and we just sat down and we were this far into it, I literally was just thinking, man, she seemed really good on camera. So kudos to you. I mean, for whatever that's worth. But anyway.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so now we have a good idea of what you're looking for, what the transformation is, what might be keeping you stuck. Now I just want to know a little bit more about you, and let's start with stress. How does that play a role?
Can you rephrase the question?
Yeah. So how does stress play a role in your life right now? Where does that come up?
What stresses me out?
What are your stressors?
Man. You know what's interesting about you asking this and me feeling slightly dumbfounded is that I would guess that I have quick answers for this, but I'm not sure I actively think about it in a way that I would express verbally, as opposed to in acute moments of stress, this is stressing me out, but can I put words to what stresses me? I think what stresses me is fear of failure stresses me in general, fear of letting other people down and being a disappointment to other people stresses me out, and then just fear of relapsing into old behaviors and not allowing myself to grow and change, that stresses me out big time.
Okay.
So when I see patterns in myself that are old, that remind me of depressing times, that's what causes me stress. And kids.
What do you mean by that?
Little kids stress me out. Yeah.
Okay.
Not because I think they're bad, it's just I don't know what to do with them, but that's a side thing.
Okay, well, I feel you on that, for sure.
Dude,
they have so much energy.
There's so much energy.
Stressful. Yeah, you're more of a dog person. Yeah. Okay, so fear of failure comes up for you, and that might cause stress, relapsing and back to old behaviors and thinking about that.
Comparison too.
Comparison.
Comparing myself to others, it stresses me out bad when I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any physical stressors in your everyday life?
I mean, obviously, exercising is a hermetic stress, right? So if that's what you mean, then sure, that's a physical stressor, but I love it. It makes me stronger. Otherwise, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my tummy gets a little inflamed sometimes, gut inflammation, physical stress.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or stuck, or thoughts of, fear or failure come up, or some stories that might come up, what helps to relieve that? What do you like to do?
I like to exercise. I like to meditate. I do that every day now. I do gratitude journals every day. I do daily affirmations. I go to see a counselor every other week, and we just try to learn healthy coping habits and make sure that my damaged brain isn't trying to fix my broken mind. Just make sure that I'm getting input from leadership. Reading every day makes me feel really good. Spending time with my wife makes me feel really, really good. Being of service to others makes me feel really, really good. Those things make me feel really, really good. They feel right. They just have an organic, genuine, sustainable rightness to all of those things. And what I eat in general does make me feel good. Like I care about how I perform in the gym. I care about how I sleep. I track my sleep. So when I'm eating is in line with my truth as I can, I feel better. And yeah, those are the things that make me feel good.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you're up to a lot of good things.
Yeah,
you're
trying
focusing
to be.
on all the aspects. You're doing the meditation, you're reaching out for support, which is, in my opinion, one of the most important things we can do is not isolate ourselves. So you're reaching out for support, and you're doing the gratitude journal, and you're journaling, and all those things, which help. Okay.
Big time.
All right.
But those are slowly learned habits. I mean, they're locked in right now, and everything can get better, but that took a long time to get to like a normal life where I wake up, drink 2 glasses of water, read a daily reflection, and journal for a bit. Like that just, now it's like, I don't have to think or try, but I believe in it, But it took years to get me willing to do that. Years of not doing super great, quite frankly.
Yeah, same here. Same here. Goes back to those small steps.
Yeah.
And going one step at a time. One courageous action at a time.
Yeah, I like that. One courageous action at a time. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Okay, so talked about stress, and now I like to talk about connectedness. And we just talked a little bit about your emotional support. So how connected do you feel to the community, to relationships, to yourself?
It goes in waves. Sometimes I feel really connected. Really, really connected. Sometimes, I don't know if it's the self-sabotage thing you brought up, although I liked how you worded it, but I don't remember what you said.
Self-protection.
Self-protection, but I go into these singular mind, overly reflective modes. I'm kind of in one right now where I feel like isolating. I feel a little detached from others and from myself, and I kind of am soothed by it almost. Like a numbness can wash over me in phases. I have a history of depression and anxiety, clinical depression, really bad. And so sometimes I drift back into like this chaotic, dark part of me that wants to rebel on everything and wants to throw it all into the wind or whatever. And so when that flares up a little bit, I have to double down on actions because I can't trust my thoughts. Yeah. And aside from those little relapses in feeling and mental health, I'd say usually I feel quite connected. I feel connected to my gym community. I mostly feel connected to my wife unless I'm in one of those modes where I can feel myself wanting to isolate. And I mostly feel connected to friends and family. So, yeah.
Okay, so it comes in waves.
Yeah, I'd say the longer waves are connected, and then I'll get these like rather jarring, disconnected feelings sometimes where I just apathy washes over, stuff like that.
Yeah, and it sounds like you really know what to do to take action when that washes over you from experience.
Yeah, from experience, yeah, because left to my own devices, I'm pretty self-destructive, but over time I've been less self-destructive.
Yeah, and isolation and withdrawal is a reflex of our nervous system as a mechanism of our past suppressed trauma. Yeah. So it's something that sounds like you've really dove into.
Yeah, I've had to my own. I've suffered for it without doing that work. I've suffered in the past for just reacting.
Yeah. Okay. So you're feeling mostly connected. Okay.
Definitely mostly connected.
And tell me about your sense of purpose.
It's funny. I make YouTube videos, right? And it gives me a great sense of purpose. Sometimes I don't feel worthy of it, but then I think that's other stuff from the past. But the idea that sharing my experience, like for example, bringing you on, knowing you have so much to offer, that's really just from knowing you passively at the gym. But I feel like mostly from reading a lot of your posts. That's the part where I was like, oh man, my audience needs to meet you. So knowing that I can facilitate any hope or any peace of mind or any information or moments of relief or moments of relief from care or worry to the world, to someone that might be just another troubled person like me just trying to make it out here, it gives me a tremendous sense of purpose. And being like a big brother gives me a sense of purpose. Being a husband gives me a sense of purpose. That sort of thing makes me feel really good. Just knowing that I can be myself and maybe it can be a value, that it makes me feel good.
Okay.
I'm going off on a fat tangent.
No, it's great. I'm hearing it all. I mean, it sounds like you feel really fulfilled with what you're doing and that you're able to touch a lot of lives and help people and also express yourself, which is really important because when we're not feeling fully expressed, then we feel depressed.
Yeah, I like that, and that's rang true for me.
Yeah. Okay. And then also having a sense of purpose, it decreases our mortality rate. There's science and scientific studies showing that it can do that, and it does do that.
Wow, just from like keeping your stress down?
Yeah, keeping stress down and just knowing that you're helping and you're having an impact.
Is that where you hear stories of like people who have, let's say, a job or career and something really meaningful to them? They leave the career and you hear stories about them passing away within like 5 years. Maybe they retire at 60, 65, but then they just seem to get unhealthy and unwell when that ends. You think a lot like those can be attributed at least partly to a sudden lack of purpose?
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes a big difference. Okay. All right. So what else? And in terms of emotional support, how do you feel in that area?
So much emotion. I have emotional support in spades. I mean, quite frankly, I've got like some of the most well-meaning, well-informed, caring, charismatic YouTube viewers from all walks of life that share their lives with me, share their stories, share feedback, constructive feedback or anecdotal stuff. Professionals show up on here in fields of mental health, let's say. My online support is crazy, but of course in my real world support, it's absurd. I mean, if there's one thing I like know about myself, which is a good thing, where I never have to pause, is I keep good people in my corner. I don't think I can do this by myself at all. So I have close relationships with friends, family, parents, wife, counselors. I need a herd. I need a community. I've got tons of support. I'm so thankful for that.
Love it.
I'd be fucked without it.
Yeah. Yes. And that's amazing that you're aware of that too.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and you have that, and you've reached out for it, and you're not afraid to reach out for that.
That's one thing that comes natural to me. I want good support, and I know I need it. I know I'm worthy of it, and I know it's not like it's a great thing. It's like I know that's what I need, no matter what I think I want. I need support.
Awesome.
And everyone does, and I want to be of support where I can. I just believe in the whole damn thing.
Love it.
It gives me light up talking about support. I can tell.
Your voice has changed. Your expression just changed because I can see how important that is to you.
Oh yeah. When I first started this channel, I literally had, of course, no one was watching, and I was super depressed. And I posted a video. And forgive me if I already told you this, but my whole goal was to find one person, not who I could help at that time. Swear, it was someone who knew what I was going through that would just message me and say, I've done this too, or I've survived this too, you're not alone. I mean, in like the greatest pit of my despair, that's all I wanted was one person to say, I'm here. And like, of course it's grown from that, but like the raw need to know someone else is out there and you're not alone is just inherently human. And I buy in 1,000 times. I buy into that. So
so important to feel like we're not alone because most of us do.
Oh yeah, I can still feel that way sometimes. I don't believe it, but I can feel it sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
And you talk about that a lot on your Instagram, right? Just like that concept, right?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think a lot of us are afraid to reach out for support because we feel like we're not worthy of that, or we're not good enough, or we'll be a burden. So we end up isolating and withdrawing, and then we're just perpetually stuck.
Yeah, the burden thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what about your sleep? How's your sleep?
My sleep's pretty great. I happen to have a tool for tracking sleep in a really detailed manner. It's a little ring I wear. It's an Aura ring. It's fantastic. It lets me know what my latency is, how much deep sleep I'm getting, REM sleep. my respiratory rate, my heart rate variability, my body temperature. It gives me like a readiness score based on how fast I get into my sleep,
Nice.
deep sleep, blah, blah, blah. I get really, really good sleep. If I don't get good sleep, I know exactly why I'm getting bad sleep. Like, for example, last night I was eating my feelings and I had like a bunch of ice cream before bed. And my sleep was screwed for it. And I knew it would be, but otherwise, really good sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You feel like you're getting enough most of the time?
I think I average like 7 to 8 hours.
Okay.
And I take that very serious, though. It's like, I make sure, I prioritize sleep more now than I ever have in my entire life. Like, I'm getting super old. Like, I want sleep. Like, I get good sleep.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, I think just as a depressive type, I was underestimating how much that impacts my mood to be poorly slept. Like, really underestimating. So when I sleep better, I seem to process the world better and handle the way my brain works better. So
absolutely. Yeah, handle the stressors that come whenever may come your way. Okay.
It's crazy.
Okay, so sleep, you're doing well, and
you do all this in a normal interview with your people?
I do. Before I even get to food.
Right, I was like, we didn't even mention food, but
this plays almost a bigger role for me. It's just is what I'm seeing is the
Gotcha.
emotional health and this aspect. And getting enough sleep is number one.
Sure.
And then once we have a good handle on that, then nutrition is next.
Is this sort of like identifying like what most people perhaps think is the problem, for lack of better words, is not the actual problem. Like the thing's not the thing. Like it's a more of a symptomatic thing, like what we're throwing down our mouths. It might be more subconscious based on terrible relationships we're in, or massive stress, or horribly underslept, and the way that can affect hormones and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. Right.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like clearing the weeds out a little bit before we can even tell where the grass is.
Yeah.
That was
exactly.
a weird metaphor. Right?
Right? Yeah.
We're mowing the lawn backwards to make sure the...
Well, you're so right. I like to look at the person as a whole.
Sure.
You're not in one part. And if you see nutrition and food, most of the time our issues with that aren't the actual thing. Like you're saying, there's emotional eating that can come.
Sure.
What are the stressors? What's causing the emotional eating? Or, what awareness do we have there in that aspect? So. Okay, so exercise. How does that play a role? I know I work out with you and you're my coach, so I know it plays a big role, but remind me.
It's the ultimate role for me. I'm not sure there's anything more like locked in for... well, it's more, I mean, I guess I said support, and I light up for that. But yeah, I light up for exercise. I like exercise in a community environment. I love the idea of breaking down my body to rebuild it stronger. The more I exercise, the better I sleep. I feel like for me, getting physically active plays directly into making healthier choices, period. It just all connects to one another. It's good for my mental health. It's good for my body. It's just good for my spirit. Yeah, movement and exercise in whatever form. Okay. I can't imagine where life would be if I didn't have it. And I don't even mean just CrossFit, like movement period. Yeah. And then for me personally, around other people is really beneficial for me. So it's really big.
Okay. And so you feel good in that area?
Oh my gosh.
You're doing well? Okay.
I feel super connected. Like I could be having a really bad day and I know it'll be better for having done that. Like it's so ingrained in me. It's just a guarantee. It's why it's a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you got that down. And I think we're on to nutrition now.
What?
Finally got to the
30 minutes in.
So give me an idea of like what a day looks like for you, what you might eat.
So on a typical, let's say a workout day would make the most sense for me to talk about because I have usually 5 or 6 of them a week. So that's my normal day. Okay. I will wake up, have a couple glasses of water, immediately 1 cup of coffee, and then I'll have my first meal. Let's say if I get up at like 8:30, I'll have my first meal at about 3:30, 3:45. And it's typically about 35 grams of oats, organic oats. It's 5 grams of honey. It's about 70 grams of organic blueberries. It's about 10 grams of sliced almonds. I measure everything, by the way, if you couldn't tell.
Measure it out.
And I put about 10 grams of raisins, some sea salt, a little bit of cinnamon, and a gala apple. About 200 grams of apple. So about 350 calories, about 65, 70 grams of carbs, maybe like 9-10 grams of protein, 5 to 12 grams of fat, something like that. It's always my pre-workout meal every single day. Okay. Like I eat that 5-6 days a week, like clockwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have that in the morning. Anything to drink?
No.
No?
More water.
Just water.
Actually, I try to get a bunch of water before, a little bit of water with, and then I might refuel some water before the workout after. I try not to put too much water. I read somewhere that it's tough on digestion to flood your body with water while you're trying to eat. Something about the acidity level in your stomach. Anyway, so it made sense to me when I read on the Googles, and so I don't drink a ton of water while I'm eating. I just try to do it before and after.
Before and after. Okay. Yeah. And how much do you think you might be getting throughout the day of water?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, like so much water. Probably a gallon. Probably a gallon a day.
So you're doing good there.
Oh my gosh. I get my water. Yeah.
Good. You got it. That's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know that's hard for a lot of people. It used to be relatively hard for me. Someone said something that made sense. They told me to wake up and drink 2 glasses of water before I did anything. 2 glasses had to be down before I could touch coffee, before I could think about food back when I was still eating right when I woke up. Whatever. I had to drink water, and I was like, I could probably do that. And it just set the tone to make sure I was hydrated for the rest of the day, and I've never looked back. I drink 2 glasses of water every morning immediately.
Okay.
So
got that habit down. Okay, so you got your pre-workout breakfast. Kind of, what's next after that?
Post-workout meal usually consists of like 2 meals. So I typically do like Amy's organic lentil soup. So I'll do a can of the lentil soup. I'll do about a half pound of chicken. I will do probably 200 grams of broccoli, 150 grams of mushroom, and like a can of olives. And then I'll throw some nutritional yeast in there, a little bit of no sugar added ketchup, just to beef it up, or to get it less liquidy, to improve the viscosity.
Scientific.
Yeah, and then it's a huge meal. It's massive in terms of weight. And I really like the active eating. I might throw some spinach in there too. So I'll eat that, and then for dessert, I will typically make like a paleo pancake, and just load it with blueberries. I have a no sugar added syrup that I like to use, and peanut butter and stuff like that. And I'll throw a bunch of protein powder, like a Garden of Life vegetable protein powder, because my stomach can really tolerate it. So I'll just make like an absurd giant protein pancake with tons of berries on top, tons of nuts, and that's usually my last meal of the day. Each one of those, mind you, is like got 800 calories on one, 1100, 1200 on the other, usually spaced apart by an hour or two. I tend to be pretty OMAD in that way.
Okay.
That's a typical day.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Typical workout normal day.
Okay.
There's definitely a trash day every week, maybe 2. That's a day where I'll still intermittent fast, but all bets are off for what I eat. And I might have pasta, I might have ice cream, I might have sushi, I might have cake. I go pretty crazy. I track everything, so I'm always curious about that stuff, but I still like once a week I fly off the handles. And I always wonder, like, what is to what end does that affect me? I always wonder about that, but I enjoy it so much, so I kind of just let myself do it.
Yeah, well, that's the question. I mean, what are your motivators? I mean, food is enjoyable, and it's one of the joys of life, you know, and if you're 80% of the time doing really well, and then 20% of the time, 20% of the time, you're allowing yourself some delicious food, then that's healthy.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's cool to know.
Yeah.
I always wondered about that. And the cool thing for me is, like, I love eating healthy or clean, so to speak. Like, I love my normal days. I don't feel like I'm like getting through a day. I love eating that way. And I can only stand physically to probably not eat that way like about once, maybe twice, like a meal or 2. Otherwise, like, I feel run down, I feel extra foggy, I can't sleep and stuff like that. But yeah, I was wondering if you were gonna be like, yeah, this is ruining everything. Like when I decide I'm gonna house a pint of Ben & Jerry's or something like that.
Okay. Yes, I can definitely give some tips and recommendations in a little bit. All right, so I'm hearing overall you're doing a great job, and there's like one day where you allow yourself to enjoy, and which I was saying is really healthy, because if we have a perfectionist mindset, then that can lead to the fear of failure, because we're expecting our diet to look perfect, and that's impossible. Like, nutrition is a science, but it's meant to be flexible, and it's okay that it's flexible too. Yeah, and it's impossible to get every single nutrient lined up every single day. It's just a matter of, are we averaging throughout the whole week getting a pretty good amount of the nutrients met?
Okay.
So it sounds like you're doing that.
It seems that I like that. I think that seems achievable. You know, you're right, the perfectionist thing. I know a big mindset thing for me has been like getting away from thinking, oh, I had a cookie last night, I failed, it's over, I may as well not care anymore. You know, there's been a lot of that nihilistic mindset in my life growing up, feeling like one bite of something means nothing else matters. You know, I've already ruined it. I'm a failure. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
From a professional.
Yes, you're doing great. Yeah. Thanks. So you mentioned you want some ideas on how to optimize.
Sure.
Even more.
Of course.
Okay. So some ideas to optimize are including more superfoods.
What are superfoods?
Superfoods are foods that are just loaded full of nutrients. Not only micronutrients, but mesonutrients.
Mesonutrients. I have actually never heard someone say mesonutrients. Yeah. What's a mesonutrient?
Mesonutrients is the trending word that'll be coming in 2020, this year, 2019,
Is this something you picked up in continued education type of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Always looking for new buzzwords and new trends.
Yeah.
And this isn't, just the word itself is a trend, but I've known for a long time how important mesonutrients are.
Okay.
So we have the macronutrients, which are carbohydrates, fat, and protein. And then we have the micronutrients, which are the different vitamins and minerals that we need to survive. And then there's the mesonutrients, which aren't so much studied yet. So anthocyanins, curcumin, the phytochemicals, the antioxidants within the plant-based foods that are so critical for our health. And I think in the next coming years, we'll be able to measure those and how much we need of those as well.
But right now we can't. Other than conceptually understanding that they're good.
Yeah.
What is the difference between? Did you already say micronutrient? You did. You said that's like vitamins, minerals, stuff like that. And then again, what's a mesonutrient again?
So mesonutrient are the antioxidants and the phytochemicals within plant foods.
I see.
So things like if you've heard of turmeric before?
Yes, of course.
In turmeric, there's a mesonutrient called curcumin, and that's a compound within the turmeric that can reduce inflammation.
Right, and it's very popular now. You hear a lot of people. I have a curcumin supplement just because I just heard it from too many places to where it cut through the noise because it was just so profoundly agreed upon that this is good for you, and it had mental health implications.
Yes, absolutely. It was studied with Prozac and to be equal or superior to Prozac.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
that is wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're seeing the importance of the mesonutrients now.
Right.
And there are many more that we haven't studied yet. Curcumin probably is the most widely studied with the most research on it. Just because there's a lot of funding towards that, but not towards the other ones. Sure. So, mesonutrients. So, superfoods are packed full of the mesonutrients.
Can you give us an example of a few superfoods?
Yes. Okay, so where do I start? There's so many. Chlorella. Chlorella. It's a type of algae.
Okay, it's a sea vegetable, right?
It's algae. So like a single-celled an organism.
Okay.
Yeah. And astronauts take it into space.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's so nutrient dense. So, and also chlorella can help pull heavy metals out of the body.
Oh, wow.
As well as a lot of us are toxic with heavy metals in us. So it can
sure, just from water and environment and food type of thing?
Absolutely. So chlorella.
Where do you find chlorella?
You can find it in like a powdered form.
Oh, I see.
A pill form. Yeah, and you can put it into your smoothies.
Is this like one of your daily do's sort of thing?
Yeah. It's one of the things.
Colleen's daily do's.
Yeah.
Get your chlorella. Okay.
Daily do's. Get your chlorella.
Give us another one. What's one that's maybe a little more common that maybe people, common as in, you see this all the time, get more of it. It's like, is spinach a superfood?
Yeah. You could say like kale and spinach.
Okay.
Cilantro. That's like a pretty common one you see in the grocery store. Similar to the chlorella, it can help pull the heavy metals out of the body.
What?
Yeah, it's one of those binders that pulls it out. So I would consider cilantro a heavy metal. Some people don't like the taste of cilantro, so if you're one of those people.
I like it like with tacos, I guess.
Yeah,
I just don't think about cilantro.
You can make like a cilantro pesto sauce.
Cool.
Something like that.
Okay.
What else? And mushrooms. Medicinal mushrooms or mushrooms in general.
Sure.
We're finding now that mushrooms like chaga, reishi. Have you heard of those before?
I have, yeah. I haven't particularly sought them out, but I've heard of them. Yeah. It's come up. I follow a few podcasts where they keep talking about chaga and reishi and all the benefits of them. But in the information overload era, there's only so much I guess I choose to lock into super tight before I get overwhelmed, So I would never have thought cilantro. I certainly wouldn't have thought of chlorella, although these are words I've heard. yeah, you've already given them quite the endorsement for include them in your diet. So
yes.
That's cool.
Yes, and then the last thing I would optimize is thinking about how can I get more plants in my diet. So like
Sure.
up to, this might seem like a lot, and if you don't have a lot of vegetables in your diet, this is like a big jump.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you do.
I do.
This might
yeah.
not be, so between 6 to 11 servings of vegetables
Sure.
a day.
Yeah, I built up to that. I would say I do get that now, I believe, or darn close. I try really, really hard, especially like on a refeed day, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, I will eat the whole day clean, and I'll use as many vegetables as I possibly can. But I've definitely found that as my intake of organic, clean, diverse, colorful vegetables has gone up, so many, for lack of better words, bad things have gone down. I mean, sleep got better, digestion got better, energy got better, focus improved, athletic performance really improved when I cleaned up that side of my diet, when I started really including that more. So I bought in just based on my anecdotal experience. Like, you hear vegetables are good. And plus, quite frankly, mental health stuff. I mean, just period. Like, I wanted better mental health. Like, if you've suffered long enough with just about anything, you become willing to set your ego aside and just start doing some of the basics and the simple things. I think that's always been one of the most curious things about my experience is I have a tendency to I want to find the most nuanced, hidden gem, secret to this, just give me the thing that's going to fix everything whilst I ignore the fundamental principles of wellness. And over time, I pulled that down and realized, no, don't hop on a psych med. And for me, I'm not downing anyone on psych meds or claiming they're bad or good. I think they have their place with a professional, blah, 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 just for whatever that's worth, because I know a lot of great people on psych meds, but let me just be careful with how I say that. But for me personally, I was always like, why don't you learn to drink water first? Why don't you, if you can, if you feel safe enough, right? Why don't you try to incorporate some vegetables in your diet first? Maybe set some sleep standards first, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's repetition of the fundamentals that we often overlook. And I don't think you're alone in that, where we're all looking for a magic pill. We're all looking for the most complicated answer.
The most complicated, yeah.
And there's I think it's a theory, it's called Occam's razor. Yeah. And what that says is simple is better than overcomplicating it, because simple is the answer.
Sure.
We need to look at the simplicity of something first, and then once we do that, then we can find ways to optimize it.
Right.
We got to start with the basics.
Let's start with the basics. The only thing that I have, we all have our experience in life, but where I think about it, in the gym, for example, I've had new people come in and they'll say, how do I get, what's the secret to getting really big muscles? And they bring up getting in really good shape, and they'll bring up the funniest, most niche side stuff I can imagine, like occlusion training or single modality movements, and I'll be like, well, we could just we could go for a run, or we could squat, or we could do something super basic, oh.
I totally hear you, and that I often compare that with nutrition with exercise too. It's like, if you know how to squat, you know how to deadlift, you know how to do the basic movements, then you can expand upon that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
Okay. So, what questions do you have for me before we talk about goals? Yeah. Okay.
Is there anything that if I wanted to really up the ante that you might suggest or be more clear about for me personally? Let's say to really tidy up and optimize.
With dairy specifically?
Just with anything you've heard from what I've said about the way I do my thing. If you're going to nitpick it, how would you nitpick it?
I can nitpick it. You do the MyFitnessPal.
I track everything,
What do your macronutrients look like?
Typically, percentage-wise or numbers?
Yeah, percentage-wise.
Percentage-wise, I do 35% fat, 35% protein. No, maybe 40% carbs. Yeah, 40% carbs, and then 30-30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting enough healthy fats, which is good, and making sure we're getting enough of that. Some of us get too many carbohydrates and not enough healthy fats.
Sure.
So you're getting enough protein, so you're good there. I think you're at a place now where you could add in some superfoods.
Okay.
Add in, optimize through with those mesonutrients.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're past the place of, you got the repetition of the fundamentals down.
Okay.
You got those down really well, and you got the flexibility with that too. And if you're,
are you talking about metabolic flexibility?
Flexibility with your mindset.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, because if you're at a place where you're like, I have to make this look perfect, then we talk about that. And we need to optimize your mindset there, because it's okay to be flexible.
Okay.
Because we can just set ourselves up for self-sabotage if we're in that mindset of having it to look perfect, because it will never look perfect.
I see.
So some people might see that as a downfall, but I see it at your flexibility and including some of those foods in your diet as a good thing.
Okay.
Because it makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know, if you were doing it 50% of the time or more than that, we would dive a little bit deeper. But you're doing it in a very helpful way.
Cool.
And what else? So I think that's where I would assess you as.
Cool.
You're doing great.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Were you hoping for a different answer?
No, I had no expectations.
Yeah.
I really like that I like the way we started. I love the way you brought it all full circle. We got to the food. It wasn't as scary as I maybe thought it would be to not like, I didn't think you were scary, but without having ever sat down with someone with any background in nutrition, not once in my entire life, which blows my mind, quite frankly. I imagine many others would just, I don't know, feel like you were going to get maybe clubbed over the head with like, geez, you're doing all that. This is what you should be doing. And I just, it being a little more cut dry. So that I really appreciated your approach. I definitely am very interested in mesonutrients and superfoods and figuring out how do I make sure I'm getting those on a really consistent basis. Because if I can already get tubers, legumes, cruciferous greens, stuff like that really consistently, how can I up the ante there? And that seems like a reasonable place for me for where I'm currently at in my journey. Which is exciting because it was not on my radar at all. I definitely think I'm ready for it too, B, so that was cool. And maybe one more question. What are your thoughts on supplements?
I think they're good to have.
Oh, yeah?
To fill the gaps. And especially if you're following a plant-based diet, even if you're not, if you're just following a regular diet or, you know, whatever, I think it's good to fill in the gaps.
So and what do you tell your clients for how to know what to take and stuff like that?
Depending on what lifestyle they like to follow. If they're following keto, it might be different.
Sure.
If they're following paleo, if they're following plant-based, then it will really be different. I mean, the first thing I'd recommend is making sure you're getting a yearly blood test done.
Okay.
So making sure your levels are all optimal, and if they aren't, then we can fill the gaps with different nutrients like vitamin D or omega-3 supplements. Also recommend getting like a neurotransmitter test done too. So checking your serotonin, your dopamine, your acetylcholine.
Are you like available to coach people online? So if any of my viewers were like, I like her, she's awesome, I would love to work with her, they could reach out to you and through your website and actually have a chance to work with you one-on-one?
Most of my clients are online.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And and that works okay for you? You like that?
Absolutely.
That's
yeah,
so
we do via Zoom, so I can see their face.
Oh wow, so it's a little more personal than
it's FaceTime.
Oh,
it's
that's
not just
cool.
over the phone. And I like to do it in a 3-month approach. So it's not just one-off sessions.
Of course,
because one-offs, like,
probably can't get anything done.
You can get some things, you can talk about some things, but then the value comes in the going and experimenting and then coming back.
Making adjustments, I'm assuming. Sure.
And then coming back.
Okay, so Colleen, first of all, thank you for sitting down with me. I loved the way that went. I love what I learned. I just feel really good right now. Obviously, you understand a little bit about how Colleen works. It's going to be a lot more than just about the food. If you think you could benefit from some leadership in your life, I hope you don't hesitate to go to the link that we're going to provide right at the top of the description. I want you to check out Colleen's Instagram. It's so nice. Like, I love her Instagram, you guys. You have to check it out. I literally, my wife and I at night will just like read her posts like, it's food for the soul, and she's vulnerable. She's open. She's really well expressed. It's great. You'll love her Instagram. And if you want to work with Colleen, I'm so glad to know that you can. I actually did not realize that or remember that at least when we first started filming this. So link in the description. Let's give her more business than she could possibly know what to do with. Let's let her share her gift, one of her gifts, with those who might need it. Okay, so use that link, reach out to her, and let her help you. Let her make your life better. And
I love to help.
Yeah,
and that's my purpose.
I love that. That's really good. Any final words for everyone for right now?
No, I think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your guys' time. This is a long post, but it's perfect. It's exactly what I needed it to be. Shower us with good vibes in the comments below. Questions you might have, maybe we'll be able to answer them, or if we do another video shoot or something like that, we can sort of direct it that way. But otherwise, this was what it was like for me to sit down with this particular dietitian. I had a really good experience. My name is Noah. I hope you heard something here or felt something that makes you want to come back. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Thanks, Colleen. That was so cool!